This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, there he is. How you feeling, Ira? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I remember what you once told me, Big O. You said at any point if the Heat win 5 of 7 games, call you immediately. Don't wait for Friday's Acura Pembroke Pines report. So here we are on a Thursday afternoon this time. And also because I have to fly to Chicago tomorrow.
And by the way, I didn't have to sit on the edge of my seat for that game last night. It was like one of the, I don't know, 2 or 3 games this year maybe they've had that they blew somebody out, and there was like no doubt. That was good. Heat fans kind of needed that because they go down to the wire with every damn team out there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking, it was the first time in 2 months they won by more than 6 points. They've only had 6 double-digit victories all season. And honestly, Big O, that tells you who they are.
I know.
There are certain teams that are good enough that they can impose their will and the game is over. Milwaukee, Boston, Philly to a degree, Denver we've seen this season. And if you're not, and if you don't have that level of greatness, it becomes a fight every night. It becomes absolutely exhausting. And in this league of sort of management control and trying to get players to the end of the season, Heat players have been pushing really hard this season because the way the roster is built, they have no other choice on a nightly basis.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And listen, yesterday, a good performance by Bam. Obviously, Butler's always putting together a terrific performance. Tyler shot well, maybe not great from 3-point range, but he still produced, quite a bit. So it was nice to see them beat a team. If they had Ja, I wouldn't say this, but without Ja, there's a team that you should be, and plus the ejection and everything, you should be. This is a team that you.
Desmond Bane got ejected, like you said, for his nut shot on Kevin Love. That was interesting. Clark was out for them. Steven Adams, a big body in the middle, hasn't played for a while now. He's been injured. Let's face it, Memphis has lost 12 of 14 on the road. So they were not a team that had much going in their favor. But, man, you at least take care of business. And here's the deal, Big O. You took care of this. You've won 5 of 7. You can't celebrate. There's too much at stake. You have to go in and beat Chicago. They'll be on the second night of a back-to-back, 2 home games on Saturday. If you lose to Detroit, I may never come back here again on an accurate Pines report.
Yeah, no.
Because the next week, you come home and you have games against the Knicks and against the Nets. That's sort of the last call for getting out of the play-in. You have 2 games against the Knicks. You have 1 game against Brooklyn. You can make hay in that time. Brooklyn tonight's plays Sacramento. If they lose to the Kings at home, the Heat win Saturday in Chicago, it's 1 game. It gets real. It means something all of a sudden. So take care of business, number 1, and then show who you really are, number 2. You cannot afford to lose either of these next 2 games this weekend, Saturday in Chicago, Sunday in Detroit.
Oh, these are winnable games. You've got to take – I mean, if you want to They can't downplay this, and they probably will to you guys in public, but there's no way they want to be a part of a play-in game. There's no way they can feel confident that, for sure we'll get out of the play-in game. This is not a team that probably is carrying a lot. This is why this run is so important for them to finish strong, because they kind of need to find some confidence.
Yeah, and you make a really good point, Big O. Whether you get to 6 or not, if you go into the play-in riding high, it's a lot different than, oh my God, we lose tonight and our season's over and here we are, and it's April 11th or April 14th. So they need that confidence boost. They also need to find themselves. And we saw something very interesting last night. No Victor Oladipo. Why? Because he can give you the highest of highs, but also, Big O, the lowest of lows when he's out of control. What this team wants is, you know what? We're going to rely on Jimmy, rely on Bam, rely on Tyler. Everyone else, just play it even keel. It's kind of weird, but basically they're telling the reserves this. Don't go out and be awful. And last night, really, throughout that entire roster, maybe Omer Yurtseven a little, but no one was awful. That's all you need.
It looked like Love was a little bit more in a groove with the offense, too.
He has to hit his threes. When he hit a couple of threes, it makes a difference. He's in the Luke Babbitt role, where he starts each half and might not play again. So it really comes down to this with Kevin Love. Play well at the start of the first quarter or third quarter, you'll play a little more. Otherwise, unless your specific skill set isn't needed, you might not come back in the game. That's fine, because here's the deal. Even though this starting lineup is honestly, when you come to net rating, not as good as the previous starting lineup, the bench no longer is awful. By getting Caleb Martin, you've mentioned this in our Acura Pembroke Pines reports all season, into his natural hustle role in reserve.
Yeah.
By having a veteran like Kyle Lowry to get those second teamers positioned in the right place, you wind up a lot better. So it's interesting. Starting lineup a little less good than it was before, but the bench a hell of a lot better than it was before.
Yeah, you could tell Caleb is obviously more comfortable playing what he was, and that was kind of where he grew up in playing that role, filling in, for Jimmy Butler, and kind of Jimmy telling him, you need to be me when I'm not on the court. And to me, that's where he was growing, where I wonder how much this kind of set him back personally a little bit for Caleb. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it didn't allow him to start where he pick up from where he left
off
last
with
year.
his energy and being an energy player. You know what's very interesting, Big O? Two things happened this year with the Heat starting lineup. They injected Caleb into the starting lineup until the All-Star break and Tyler Hero. And I think both of those moves were net negatives.
Yes.
Energy guys off the bench against second teamers are completely different players. Tyler Hero fit that role to a T. Caleb Martin fit that role to a T. But like I tell everyone out there, here's the deal. You can tell me someone shouldn't start, but then you have to tell me who should start. For example, I've had a bunch of people tell me, Kevin Love's been marginal, been mediocre. He shouldn't be starting. And I tell people, who else? Give me another name. Do you really, no offense, do you want to rush Haywood Highsmith out there instead? You know that's supposed not playing two bigs with Big Yurt and Bam Adebayo. So that's what happens is you almost have placeholders in your starting unit so you can get to the right man, 9-man rotation.
Although the screwed up part is, if we want to screw around with this, okay, so I don't like Caleb playing the power forward spot. I don't think any of us like that. But if you put Tyler on the bench and you put Caleb in Tyler's role, I don't know. That might not be so bad, because that allows Caleb to play his game in that role. Plus, he adds defense, something that Tyler doesn't.
You don't have shot creation.
No,
so again,
you're right.
It's who's starting and who's not. Now, maybe if Kyle Lowry starts again and he can create some shots, but he doesn't create his own shots. That's the thing. Look, this is a very unathletic.
If you're not a threat offensively, it makes it harder for you to be effective as a play creator. That's the whole problem.
Then the burden falls on Jimmy Butler to back you in and pound you in. Look at the first half last night. Jimmy Butler, 10 of 11 from the foul line. Yay. The Heat up at halftime. Yay. But Big O, you know this. Through 82 games, even if Jimmy takes 15 off and a playoff grind, that's a hard way to win basketball games. And that's asking an awful lot of Jimmy Butler. I would like to see Jimmy Butler do that once a week. Right now, the Heat are asking him to do it 4 times a week.
Your thoughts on John Morant and his interview with Jalen Rose? A lot of maturity in that interview. And he's taken the problem, obviously he has to live up to it now and follow what he says. But I do love the fact that he has been very proactive about this. And while some guys, they may limit the criticism of themselves in public while they're trying to make this transition, he has not. And he has been openly critical. And it's almost like he realizes, or somebody got to him to realize what he was doing wrong.
Yeah, but again, words are one thing, actions are another.
I get it.
Can a 24-year-old kid now go on the road and every single city he goes to, hotel, shoot around, hotel, ball game, team flight? Can he do that? Can he not enjoy the extravagances of the road? Can he reel himself in after a bad game? When he wants to get away from it all, can he get back to the hotel room? Some guys talk about the 4 walls when you're on the road a whole time and how it becomes too much and they have to get out. Some guys need those 4 walls. There's a reason when you're going for addiction counseling, you go to a place where you can't get off campus, where you have to just focus on who you are. So look, the words are all well and good. I did not like how it played out. And if I was Adam Silver, I wouldn't like how John Morant goes from a hearing with the commissioner to an ESPN-produced solo interview airing at midnight on the Scott Van Pelt Show. Like, Big O, is everything
superstar. Yeah, superstar, man.
But is everything theater these days? Does everything have to be theater? Do you have
Yes.
to cash in on John Morant's misery? Why can't you just say 8-game sanction, can come back as soon as next Monday, is going to practice first? Let's see it on the court. Let's not see him in any police reports or any videos. And what I didn't like most of all was this. John Morant, when this whole thing started, shut down his social media. Now his social media is back. And I just don't think that's a good thing. And I think that's the first step in a bad direction. Because you know what? Social media might be fun. You and I use it to market ourselves for brand marketing and business. I get that. But neither of us go crazy on the personal stuff also. You can have a life without being on social media. I don't think some of these guys get that.
The Warriors, have you been able to figure out why they can't win on the road?
I just think they're in the comfort zone at home because they're a three-point shooting team, and it's always been natural that you shoot better at home in the familiar surroundings. But I don't think they are built for adversity as much as they previously were, especially with the injuries and Wiggins being out right now. Klay Thompson is not his full self. It's just interesting. Big O, there's probably 3 or 4 teams in this league that I would tell you are having a subpar regular season, but I'm still worried about in the playoffs. I still don't want to play I don't want to play the Warriors in the playoffs in the first round. I don't want to play the Suns, who are careening right now, once Kevin Durant gets back. And honestly, and I know you're going to disagree with me of this, I don't want to play the Lakers because LeBron's been out and they've been staying afloat. LeBron's a really good player. And when LeBron comes back, that could change also. So I just think there's certain teams that are meandering their way through the regular season, being saved by the play-in, that the top 10 get some sort of postseason, and then they go from there. I see the postseason is setting up a lot different than the regular season. I think in the postseason, everyone might be Furman.
It's crazy stuff. Who's the most surprised team for you in the NBA this year?
The most surprised team for me probably is the consistency of the Denver Nuggets distancing themselves from the rest of the Western Conference. There's 2 teams out west. There's Sacramento, which has risen through the ranks, but I think risen through the ranks because the ranks have come down to them a little bit also.
Yeah.
But Denver's been steady. And also late season, what Milwaukee has done lately. You and I talk about every week on our Acura Pembroke Pines reports twice a week. We're talking about it on redrecover.com inside the paint on Wednesdays. We didn't know who the best team in the East was. We spoke about Milwaukee. We spoke about Boston. We spoke about Philly. Milwaukee now has said, enough. We're the best. And that's what they look like.
Crazy stuff. All right, what are you working on the Sun Sentinel leading up to game time tomorrow or Saturday? I'm sorry.
Well, actually on Saturday. First of all, I wrote about Kevin Love and what he went through. And he says, anyone who's got hit in the man parts knows what it's like when you take a really bad shot from a really big guy. And he said, hey, it was back spasms. That's why he was doubled over. So we all feel Kevin Love's pain to a degree there also. Spoke also about the Heat's offense. That, look, I know it hasn't been great all year, but since the All-Star break, it's moved up. Since the last 10 games, it's moved up. Last 6 games, top 4 in the NBA. A lot of that has to do with opponents. But you know what, Big O? Not only are they winning now, but they're fun. And we deserve a little fun watching this team grind it out.
No, they can score. They're scoring lately. Yeah.
It's a fun show. This is what I wanted to see all season. So thank you, Miami Heat, because you know this team, Big O. They will not give up on defense.
Oh, no.
They will not give up on that end. But sometimes you got to give a little to get a lot. I think that's what you're seeing right now. I mean, holy crap, the Heat in the 120s this week and the 130s. Hey, enjoy it while you can.
I hope they can keep it up, and I hope they take care of business at Chicago and at Detroit. We'll see what happens. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, have safe travels and enjoy the weekend, my friend.
And I'll be out Monday also, flying back from Detroit. So right back here, Acura Pembroke Pines on Tuesday. Thanks, Big O. Everyone have a good weekend.
You got it. There you go. Ira Winderman. And, of course, our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. We will be at Acura Pembroke Pines next Friday, broadcasting live. You can be there right away. You need a vehicle? 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. What, we're not going to be there next Friday? Oh, we're there tomorrow. I'm sorry. Next Friday, we're at KSDT. That's right. I'm sorry. We're there tomorrow at Acura Pembroke Pines. What do you want me to do? Anyway, they got a lot that is loaded with brand new vehicles and certified pre-owned vehicles. So check it out at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. And if you happen to own or lease an Acura, man, go see Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber. They do an awesome job there at that service center. They roll out the red carpet, man. Okay, they are absolutely amazing. It's just a great company. They do great work and they work hard for you guys. That's why they're the number one volume sales dealership in the United States. That's right, the number one volume sales dealership in Acuras in the United States. That is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.